Hello, guess what, everybody? It's time for another episode of Schnozzcast. Thanks for being here with us again. You're joined by Bob and Cory and Todd. Let's welcome to the stage Cory Selesky.
Well, hello, gentlemen. You know what? I was driving here, and I thought to myself, you know what, boys? Let's get sexy.
Hold that thought. I want to get back to you. And national treasure that he is, Todd Dillon. How are you, sir?
Copacetic, baby. Copacetic. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Is copacetic another word for, without going to dictionary.com, is it another word for I'm doing okay?
It's an excellent order. I am an excellent order, sir.
Hold on.
There we go.
There we go. All right. So let's get sexy.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah. How are you going to manifest sexiness?
I think I already have, Bob.
On this podcast.
I think I already have.
I'm only asking because I didn't detect any overt sexy moves or phrases.
I saw your pants get a little tight when I walked in.
That's kind of crazy. You must have the thump on the table.
I did. And I was like, well, it's working.
Okay. So just the mere
You
mention.
You walked into the corner of the table?
The mere fuck you, Todd. The mere mention of sexiness. That's your let's get sexy move.
I mean, I might have a few more tricks up my sleeve throughout the episode, but
okay, but you're keeping that to yourself. This is going to be a thrillist, out of the blue kind of a thing.
Sexiness 101.
Okay.
Don't give away your sexiness all up front.
Sexiness must be a surprise.
Yeah, that's right.
It must hit you in the face like fill in the blank. You must be like, oh my God, that was sexy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if for our listeners out there and our viewers on YouTube, go ahead and put it in the chat, or you can email us at schnozzcast@gmail.com and tell us what was the moment in the show.
You guys buckle up.
Yep. Where you were like, God damn, that was sexy, Cory.
Buckle up.
Damn.
Could happen at any moment. We're an hour-long show these days. A little more, a little less, but could come at any point. So, yeah, strap yourselves in.
Maybe it was the moment, Bob, when I said, hey, baby, how you doing?
Did you say that already?
Could that have been it?
No.
How you doing?
You must have said it real low. Or maybe it was when we were all muted and we had the music playing. All right, housekeeping out of the way. If you're new to the podcast, thank you for joining us. We have reached out to quite a number of folks, fellow podcasters, influencers, social media, people that we like, that we follow. So
Eminem, Kevin Spacey,
Kevin Spacey,
Richard Gere.
Hold on a minute.
The whole crew.
One of those things is not like the other. Eminem, Spacey, Richard Gere. We'll let you figure out which one it is, folks. But if
definitely Richard Gere.
If they have
Army Hammer,
Jeffrey Epstein. Why don't we just keep going?
Right.
Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, Cosby.
Oh,
reached out to all of them. I didn't know if we're doing like a bracket, like a bracket competition against who's the worst. I'm sure. I mean, they're all pretty bad.
Yeah, believe it or not, Epstein never got back to us.
he's dead.
Oh.
Well, reportedly.
How about that?
Reportedly. But anyway, maybe one of those newfound friends or people who have heard from us recently are here for the first time going, well, these people that reached out to us, what are they all about? So if you're new to the podcast, thank you for joining us. If you want to go back and listen to previous episodes, you can find them out there literally anywhere where you get a podcast. The 40-some different apps and streaming services you can get podcasts we are on all of them. If you want to watch us, we are available on YouTube. You can go check out any of our previous episodes, including the last one that we did last Sunday with our amazing special guests, Sound Eaters, that we had on last week.
And as of today, Bob,
yeah,
we are going to be streaming live on Twitch as well.
Are we live on Twitch right now?
We're live on Twitch right now.
Hi, Twitch.
What's up, Twitchers?
Yeah. What's the proper nomenclature? Is it the Twitchiverse? Is it the?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that up.
The Twitchy.
I don't think it's the Twitchies.
Okay.
I can
What's
almost
up, grinders?
Okay,
No,
well,
that's okay.
we want to attract guests, Todd.
Yeah. Todd's going to click a hashtag grinder on this episode as soon as it hits Twitch. I think that's actually pretty cool. So, hey, if you're from Twitch and you're watching us on Twitch, you might be asking yourselves, where have these guys been this whole time? Twitch is not new. What have you been waiting for?
Exactly.
No, but we so at one point we were doing YouTube and Facebook.
Yep.
Something happened with Facebook that was very unfortunate, but at the same time made us realize something. So we decided to drop Facebook Live and just do YouTube. But we tried Twitch when we were still doing Facebook and YouTube, and we had a lot of friends and family members that would come onto Facebook that we no longer have. So we decided that we're going to start streaming every episode on Twitch.
We don't have them anymore, or they just stopped.
Well,
they ditched us?
If they did, here's what happened. Everybody who we had a number of followers on Facebook, a lot of whom were friends of friends, close family for all of the hosts, and our wives/girlfriends. So when we decided to go exclusively to YouTube, we posted something on Facebook, essentially stating that and imploring them to say, "Hey, please." Just follow us over there. It's not like YouTube is a new. I'm like, I don't want to download a new app. That's too much work for me. Like, everybody's got YouTube on their phone. This is not. There's nothing special you need to do. The only thing they needed to do was to go to YouTube and subscribe to us. The same way that they were following us on Facebook. It's literally the same thing. So, but if they didn't do that, then they wouldn't get this notification that we're now live on YouTube, and hence the reason why perhaps they're not in the room or they're not chatting. Now, there are definitely people coming in the room. We know for a fact that they're there, but they're just a lot more silent in the chat than the Facebook chat was. So there's obviously, since they're not, perhaps they're here, and I guess to them I would say, thank you for following us over. And if you want to chat, we heavily encourage it. We're going to be talking about a few different topics, as well as going through some existential questions tonight. So we encourage your feedback. We encourage your participation. And if you put something in the chat, we will address it. Ask us a question. If there's a topic you want us to cover, we will do that. We're all about you, man. But if they didn't make it over,
about you,
we can't really address them here because they're not here. Perhaps they're listening to us, a week from now on the audio version on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or something. And to them, I would say, come on, man, just follow.
Please, come on, man.
Just make that one change. Just go over to YouTube, where if you weren't following us on YouTube, just give us a subscribe.
That's all you got to do is click a button.
That's it. One button. You know you've got YouTube on your phone. Everybody does.
We're begging.
Everybody does.
Pleading.
Yeah. If you're double nickels or older, people that Todd and I may have been a couple grades older than Todd and I in school, then YouTube is the app that looks like a little TV with the red play button in the middle.
Wow. That's what it's coming to, huh?
And so you take your phone, which is that rectangular thing that your boss made you get, or your wife told you that you had to have, and just ask him to help you. Say, hey, I really want to help my friends out. How do I get YouTube onto this rectangular brick thing that talks on the internet?
I was going to say, a lot
feels like boomers still got atlases under their seats in their car.
I was going to say, people your age still might have flip phones, so.
Yeah, or the latest craze, which is a dumb phone.
Well,
what are your thoughts? So let's get into this for a minute. What are your thoughts, both of you, on the strategy of people? It's kind of like vinyl, right? It's kind of like or like retro people posting threads on Instagram and whole accounts made to give, like, here's how my basement looked. I've recreated it from 1979, and here's the TV card I had with the Magnavision, like, chink, chink, chink buttons, and the Atari 2600 down below. Like, there's a lot of, of an audience there for retro stuff, for throwback stuff. I don't know if I see dumb phones as being a throwback as much as they can't bring themselves to unplug from social media and the phones that have those apps. So they're just going to go, you know what? I'm going to get a phone that doesn't have the capability of doing anything other than making and receiving calls and sending text messages. That's it.
Well, it is called a phone. I like that.
Yeah. But could you see yourself doing it?
No.
How far do you think, or how long do you think you would make it
with a dumb phone?
With a dumb phone.
Time-wise?
Yeah.
I would probably start to go nuts after maybe 4 days.
4 days? You think you'd make it 4 days?
Yeah, because I have enough other hobbies that don't require a connection to the internet where I could amuse myself. You got work.
Bob, you need the internet for porn. That's 2 of your hobbies right there.
Hold on a minute.
Todd, you've never seen the stack of magazines that he has in the bathroom?
I got a bookshelf right over there.
That's already taken care of.
Now, granted, these are...
He still has VHS players around the house.
These are like 1983 Playboy Playmates, so they're,
But the pages are all stuck together already.
Nick would have said, oh, that's not sexy at all. They're dead now. I can't look at a picture from when they were sexy because I know they're not sexy currently.
You're just old and wrinkled.
That's
right.
True. That's true.
And so speaking of,
I did watch the Playboy murders. I did watch that.
Oh,
they're not aging well.
Yeah, some of them are pretty rough.
Yeah, save that for,
or dead.
Save it for our next episode when we do Gentleman's Agreement, Todd. Maybe that's because you're going to need to assign something to somebody. But so since we're talking about Cory getting sexy on this podcast, have you thought for just 1 minute about the fact that in the future, someone will regard you as not being sexy because you don't look like you do right now? In the future, you're going to be withered, graying, older Cory. And you're going to be like, hey, look at this thing when I was sexy. And they're like, no, you're not sexy because you don't look like that anymore.
Well, clearly you've thought about this.
I just did in the last 5 minutes.
That answers your side.
I'm asking you.
No, I've never, ever thought that.
I mean, this is a record. It's a record on the internet forever of what we were doing in 2024 on the internet with this podcast.
True.
And there are also 5+ year old episodes that we have of this very show still out there and available, in which we all probably looked, except for Todd probably, we all looked a little bit better back then.
Black don't crack, baby.
I'm going to say
black don't crack.
I'm going to say negative. I think I've...
No. You think
for our fans in Singapore, I wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
Black don't crack means black people don't age.
And I did not want to be the one to say that, so thank you for handling that for me, Todd.
There you go. You got it, brother.
Right. So, Cory, you're saying that you're now entering your silver fox phase. Your because a lot of women consider men when they get to middle age, 30s, 40s, to be a lot sexier than worldly.
I
handsome.
Also lost a little bit of weight, not a ton, but a little. I've went back and watched some of the old videos, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah,
that was pretty big.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is just your personal opinion.
Maybe you grew a half inch.
Yeah.
Maybe you grew a half inch, and then
and then I'd be that much taller than you. Still,
it's going to be hard for him to get sexy with all those disparaging comments.
Get your sexy on, brother.
Well, boys, I think for today, wanted to first touch on nostalgia as we have done in the past. And the topic for today's show is fun destinations when you were a kid, when you were younger. Places that you might have gone, let's say, for your birthday or for celebrating a great job in school with your grades, a summer trip that you went on with your parents, a class trip maybe.
What about times we went and played hide and go get it?
Does that count? As a fun destination? I mean, technically, yes. Yes, it is a fun destination.
Is that what Uncle Steve called the game?
But it's not as relatable to the audience as maybe some of the other ones that we might be discussing. No, they're not only going like, oh yeah, I remember Mary Lou from down the block. That was a fun destination. No one's going to be able to identify with that.
True.
So you could save that answer, Todd, for another segment, maybe sports or
All right. Sports.
something where it's a little more applicable.
Or the new segment that we're going to have, My Creepy Uncle.
Or she's not really my cousin.
No, that's the name of the segment. Corey, have artwork made for that immediately.
We're third cousins.
Todd, start working on the theme song. Yeah, boys. So I guess I could start with this. I would say we did end up going to. My dad would take us out to. Oh, this was the thing that we did. We loved pools because we never had a pool growing up. There's the pool in school. There's the pool. We in our town there were many public pools that we could use, and every year we ended up getting tags for those pools, and we got to go to those pools. But there's something different about going to a pool on a vacation. So we did the Disney World trip a few times, and that was great. But the one thing that we all got excited about was like every now and again, like it was probably maybe every couple of years, my dad would go, "Okay, so how's school today?" "Yeah, that was great." "All right, well, you got a job. Go into your room, so pack your bag. You're gonna grab bathing suit. You're gonna grab change of underwear, toothbrush, and a pair of flip flops." And we all started getting excited because we had no idea. So we would all get in the car, and we would go down to down to Ohio, or maybe even sometimes in Michigan, I think. And we would go to Holiday Inn or an Embassy Suites or somewhere where there was an indoor pool in the middle. And not like a Great Wolf Lodge or anything like that. Those didn't exist back then, to my knowledge. But just the thought that as a family we were going to go to this hotel, we were going to hang out in the hotel for one night, we were going to get pizza, we were going to go swimming, and then watch a movie, and then head to bed. It was better than any vacation that he would have spent 10 times the amount of money on. And so that was a fun destination for us when we were kids.
We had a couple like that. As a matter of fact, you remember well, it's still there. The Pink Hotel off 94. I believe it's a Best Western.
Down by like Allen Park?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they had a really nice pool and all that there. So obviously, again, that not too much context for many other people out there.
I peed in that pool.
That was you? I'm like, who is that guy?
Many times. Many times.
So many times. I'd stop there for bathroom breaks.
Pool's closed because it was that guy right there.
That water was so warm,
like,
dude. How could you not pee in it? It was too warm. It was too warm not to pee in it.
Just mix. It's inviting for pee.
So I can't remember what
it relaxed my bladder.
I can't remember what the name of that hotel is, but I know exactly the one you're talking about.
Yeah. But again, I don't know. I think Kids Kingdom, which I know you're familiar with, Bob.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know if that was a national chain or if that was something that was just here in Michigan.
I couldn't tell you.
But that's when things were good and my parents had a little bit of money, we went to Kids Kingdom. That was
like a Chuck E. Cheese, right?
Like a Chuck E. Cheese on steroids.
Right, but it wasn't a hotel that you stay at. It was a like, we're gonna go here for the afternoon.
Yeah. Just a couple hours, whatever. And then when things weren't so good and their money might have been a little tight that week or that month, you knew because we went to Caesar's Palace instead. And for those of you that don't know, Caesar's Palace was owned by Little Caesars.
Uh-huh.
And it was their version of like a Kids Kingdom that they opened up. And I think there was only like 2 of them around here. And obviously Little Caesars being a Michigan-based company, it was a big difference. It was
the ball pits were all full of pizza.
It was a little bit of a step up from Chuck E. Cheese, but definitely not as good as Kids Kingdom.
Okay,
more or less pink eye.
Oh, much more. Much more.
Because Kate's Kingdom was loaded with pink eye.
Well, yeah, you got sick of shit when you and Christy took us the one time.
Loaded with it.
So Todd and the listeners out there, at one point, my sisters and I were we still are much younger than Bob.
That just hurts.
Well, you're welcome.
I'm going to say
it's true.
It's
just true.
It's just the truth, buddy. It's just the truth.
Painfully accurate.
And so there would be times where he and Christy would babysit for my parents while they would go out and do their stuff. And then one day they took us to Kids Kingdom, and Bob, being the new boyfriend to Christy, was trying to get in good graces with everyone.
Oh yeah, and you guys.
Well, of course, yeah.
I needed you guys to like me too.
Yeah. And so Bob felt that it would behoove him to get into the giant tube jungle gym that all these nasty little kids are crawling around in, and
the ball pits,
sneezing
wherever
in, and
you went, I
and,
went. Yeah.
And so yeah, we left, and I'll never forget, because when we left, there was this couple that was making out in the very back of the parking lot. And so we all got into the car, and Bob proceeded to do circles around him, honking his horn with his window down, just going, woo! Woo! And this couple never once stopped. Like, they didn't look to see what was going on or why this guy was doing this. They just kept going about their business. But yeah,
that only spurred me on further. But like another couple of rounds.
But apparently, a couple days later, Bob said that he had never been sicker in his entire life.
Oh, I almost died.
Yeah.
I mean, when you go over to, let's say, a sub-Saharan country or somewhere where you have to take many shots, I feel like all of those shots that you would get to go to that place are to prevent you from feeling exactly the way that I felt when I left King's Kingdom.
Yeah, that's what they should make you like. Are you going to Kids Kingdom, Chuck E. Cheese's, or any other or Caesar's Palace? If you are, here's the series of shots, vaccinations, immunizations that you need.
Here's the shot cocktail we're going to give you.
Yeah, we're going to put you in a strict drug regimen for 2 weeks prior to your visit.
What was the? Have you guys ever seen Crank, the movies with Jason Statham?
Yes.
What was the one cocktail? The oh man, there was a name for it.
That's some deep Crank trivia.
I'll find it here. I'll find it here.
How about you, Todd? I mean, you don't have to compete with the I almost died from communicable diseases aspect, but what's your go-to?
My go-to, the thing that kind of bubbles to the top was so when I was in grade school, we would always do field trips, but until you got to the 8th grade, the 8th grade field trip was Cedar Point. And that was like probably one of the coolest, getting to go to Cedar Point for the first time. For those of you who aren't aware, Cedar Point's in Sandusky, Ohio. It's about, a 2-hour drive from the Metro Detroit area?
Yeah,
2.5 hours?
Probably.
And if you're, again, for our listeners in Singapore and all the other countries, think Disney World without all the production and the shows, just rides and more rides. The big thing with Cedar Point was, the Gemini, the fastest for a long time, was the fastest roller coaster on earth.
Holy shit,
then
buddy.
The corkscrew, the first.
I'm very sorry to cut you off, but you realize how much you just showed your age.
I would have said the same thing.
The Gemini?
Yeah, the Gemini was the shit at one point.
It was an all wood and the first all wood and the fastest roller coaster in the world.
The Gemini.
And then the corkscrew was the first roller coaster to go upside down. And so that was, and actually the coolest thing is I learned a most valuable science lesson about gravity and mass, and I think all of Newton's and Einstein's theories all came to pass. Like an idiot, I get to Cedar Point for the very first time, and my mom had given me, I think, like $20 or $30 to spend at the arcade and on
all in pennies.
Whatnot. No, well, it was cash, but I immediately went to those coin machines where you put the bills in, and got it all in quarters, and then rode the Gemini. And
so you got $30 in quarters, and you put it in your pocket to ride.
I put it in my pockets, and then rode the Gemini.
Yeah.
And an interesting thing happens when the Gemini actually goes down to when it goes down that first hill.
Yeah.
and goes down. As soon as like it went all the way down, I'm like, what in the world is happening? I see all these quarters floating in the sky. and then all of a sudden they all slammed in my face and onto the ground. I'm like after one ride on that roller coaster, I had about $3 worth of quarters left.
You lost almost all your money on the Gemini?
On the Gemini, within 20 minutes of being at the freaking park.
So you got to the park at like 8:30 in the morning, and before 9 o'clock you were broke.
I was broke as a joke, bro.
Did you think about trying to get back into the ride and see if you can go down and pick up all the quarters that were on?
I did, dude. If you don't think that I freaking lobbied hard with the dude pulling the little lever, freaking sending the roller coaster. I'm like, dude, I got to get in there.
Wow. Yeah, at some point, Cory, what was the coolest ride at Cedar Point the last time you were there? Well, or when you were a kid, I should say, because it's not the coolest ride today.
No, God, no. So I was the Millennium Force. We were there for that when they first built that. As a matter of fact, man, we were there. So we were there a lot when we were younger. We were there for when they first opened the Raptor. Mm-hmm. I think that was like the first big ride that I really remember. That was like the groundbreaking of like new coasters. Then there was the Millennium Force that for the longest time was the tallest, steepest drop on a roller coaster in the world. And then I was also there when they first opened Top Thrill Dragster.
Okay.
That sends you from 0 to 85 in like 2 seconds, and you go up however many feet and spiral back down.
Yeah.
We can do that in my car, Cory.
in the Montego.
But it's true. But you know what's funny? I did see a TikTok the other day that someone who was obviously much younger than all of us had a list of defunct rides from Cedar Point. And all those rides I just mentioned were on there.
Well, they're no longer, so the
no, they're still there.
What do you mean by defunct?
I think they the way they were trying to use it is just that like, oh, these are old terrible rides.
Oh, okay. Well, all right.
So like they there was no.
They're not the belle of the ball anymore,
right? There was no discussion. Like the Gemini didn't even make the list.
Oh no, of course not. That's, babies. I think babies. That's your first. Like when you're 7 and first time at an amusement park, they probably are like, Gemini's where you got to go.
Well, it's because even like the Magnum. The Magnum was pretty sweet.
Yeah,
but that wasn't even mentioned on the list. So I was like, man.
Do you guys remember the Beast and where that was?
No, I don't think I do.
That was at Six Flags, wasn't it?
No. The Beast was at Kings Island.
That was my next guest.
Oh, I've never been there.
You never went to Kings Island?
I went once. Also in Ohio.
Yeah.
I went once, yeah. That's the only family vacation I can remember. We took one of my high school roommates. We went on we did a family vacation and we drove out to, I can't even remember what part of Ohio that's in, but we went out to Kings Island and stayed in a hotel and did the pool thing. I think I peed in that pool too. But we went out there and I got to ride the Beast at that, because the Beast was the next roller coaster that was the fastest in the world. So I rode. So again, Cory's probably going to laugh at me because I don't even know if Kings Island's even open anymore.
No,
and
it's
I can
not.
imagine now the Beast has been relegated to its stats are probably pretty weak.
I do remember the Beast though. I don't think I ever rode it, but I remember because they did a hard publicity stint with that. I remember seeing it on TV for commercials all the time.
Oh yeah,
that was what they're like. Okay, we finally have something again to try to bring people to Kings Island. Oh, and speaking of what we were talking about with Crank the movie, it was the Beijing Cocktail.
Oh, the Beijing Cocktail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I really like that movie. It's just been a long time since I've seen it.
I mean,
I don't think I've seen it.
I'd blow Jason.
And
Statham
I'm a Statham fan too. I like Statham as well.
Is this that bringing the sexy part that you were talking about?
I mean, hit me up, Jason.
All right, boys, I want to move on to... Actually, before we move on, let's do a shot because I think, right about halfway point.
Yep.
And we're overdue, if history is any judge.
Pour it up, Todd.
Getting it poured, baby.
Yeah, so we're a drinking podcast. Do we get drunk on the show? Not generally. In the past, we definitely have.
Come check out the second episode. You might think differently.
Right. Yeah, that's true. We're going to do another episode after this. Now, actually, while Todd's pouring that, real quick announcement, hot off the press for Schnozzcast. I think we're going to be changing a little bit of the way that we release episodes. So starting tonight, and I guess we're really talking to people that are watching us live now, because if you aren't, then you'll figure it out later, I guess. This live stream will disappear.
It shall be no more.
Shall be no more. So our live streams are now going to become what they probably should have been all along, which is a live event that's happening. So once we are done recording here, we're going to pull it down, and then we will release it again along with the audio version next Friday, on the following Friday, so that everybody can then watch it, and then it'll stay up there forever. So I don't really know why I'm using the tone of voice where I'm asking permission. Like, is that cool with you guys? If that's what we do,
everyone okay with that?
Yeah, is it good?
No, that's what we're fucking doing. So
yeah, I guess so. See, there's more of that sexiness, Cory.
Sometimes
in command.
Got to grab things by the balls, Bob.
Chicks love that stuff. So does Statham.
By the balls.
That's. Hey, the sexiness is for everyone, Todd.
Cory doesn't discriminate.
That's right.
Yeah, his sexiness is for the masses. All right, cheers, everybody. Join us.
Cheers, boys.
Cilantro.
Let's
That's the good stuff. Thanks for asking, Bob. I'm drinking Heritage Distilling's Cocoa Bomb chocolate whiskey. Very, very good. And for my beer, I'm drinking Black Raven Brewing Hazy IPA. Outstanding, folks. Freaking standing.
Is this this cocoa whiskey that you're drinking? Is it the same one that you were drinking a couple weeks ago, or is this a different cocoa whiskey?
It's the same one I was drinking a couple weeks ago. And I'm drinking, it's actually called the Perplexer by Black Raven Brewing. And it is a hazy IPA, and it is phenomenal.
Yeah, I think if our audience really cared about, maybe one day they might say, like, hey, I need to know when Todd tells us what he's drinking, is that available on the East Coast? Is it available in the Midwest? Or is it only on the West Coast?
Well, what I would like to know, as not just a viewer of our show, but a person on the show, Todd.
Yes, sir.
Can you walk us through what happens when you go into a beer store and you pick these crazy ass beers?
Wait, can I play the clerk?
I mean,
yeah. Cory, you play. Let's do Schnozzcast Theater. So Todd's gonna be Todd walking in, and I'm gonna be the clerk, and Cory, you're gonna be another patron in the party store.
It's not that I dislike the idea, but I feel like when Todd goes to the beer store, it's a very self-contained experience.
Well, we're gonna find out.
See.
We're going to find out. What does that mean, Todd? So you don't talk to anybody?
I don't.
You don't make eye contact? You're just like, if someone's like, hey, buddy, ever try this? You just be like, fuck you. I'm not talking to people.
No.
What I see is Todd standing there at the cooler or this big shelf with all these different beers, and someone might come up and be like, well, hello, sir.
Can I help you? Yeah.
And he just looks.
We can do that. Yeah.
And
so
he's
that
like,
people... This happens.
Okay, all right. So here we go.
Let's do it. Who's who again?
I'm the clerk. Cory is another patron who's also wandering the aisles looking for something to drink. So
why don't you, Bob? You need to play a dual role. Why don't you play
the
dude
sir?
in? I'm doing well, thank you.
You just went right into it.
Let me know if you need anything.
Yeah, well, I do.
Yeah, what can I help you with?
I'm looking for something with a really good balance. I love hazies. I like porters. I like ambers. So what do you recommend? What's new on the shelves today?
Aisle 7, sir. That's where you want to go.
What's on that shelf, though?
You
backed yourself into the corner here, buddy.
Balanced.
Aisle 7.
Yeah. Porters. Really, all of our top shelf. Really, the stuff.
So you don't know shit about shit, sir.
Aisle 7, I believe, is what I mentioned.
Since
I'm happy to.
Since I came in behind Todd as a customer and I overheard this conversation, I was like, oh, let me go to aisle 7. Guess what? It's all fucking whiskey.
Exactly. He knows shit about. He knows shit all.
Listen, man, it's my first day. Okay.
So then I tell Todd that in the aisle, I said that guy doesn't know shit.
I'll tell you what. Why don't I let me abandon the register? I'll come around and I'll walk you out. Okay, come on, sir. Here we go.
Yep.
I don't think we need sound. I think people understand.
I have to come down the steps to come out from behind the register. I'm a higher than you. Behind the glass.
What kind of fucking?
I don't.
Todd, why are you and I at this?
That, Bob.
I'm behind the glass, up higher. I come down the steps.
I feel like I'm being stereotyped here, Corey.
All right.
I think we're both being stereotyped.
You stepped out behind the bulletproof glass, did you, Bob?
Yeah, I did. Sir.
I was picturing like a total wine situation.
And now I'm totally exposed outside the bulletproof glass. But, sir, if you'd like to follow me, let's go. I'll take you where you need to go. Oh, you're right. It was aisle 6.
But I will walk behind you, black man.
Yeah, exactly. Keep your pockets turned out.
Are you still the other patron?
No, I'm your internal thoughts.
Never break character.
Sorry.
No, you're the patron.
Okay.
I'm like, that's a crazy thing for another patron to say.
No.
I will walk behind you, black man.
That was you.
No. Don't speak for me. You're speaking for yourself.
Well, and now I can see how. As the other patron, Todd,
right, sir,
I can see Bob trembling.
You're thinking that.
This other gentleman really seems to be having an internal monologue. But if you'd follow me here, you're right. It was my bad. First day jitters. It's actually aisle 6, as you can see. So, do any of these beers up here interest you? What specifically? Are you maybe looking for a particular brand, or?
I'm not looking for a brand. I'm looking for different components. I like things that are smooth. I'm interested in things with high alcohol content sometimes, but I don't want anything that's just harsh and tastes like a bunch of alcohol. I like a good blend of really nice. I really love things with citra hops in them. So if there's anything that you have with citra hops, I'd like to look at some of those. And again, like I said, let's change it up a little bit. Porters are often really hard to find, and there's usually people only have a couple of them. So if there's anything new and interesting in the like chocolate coffee porters or peanut butter porters, like the what is that, Sweet Baby Jesus peanut butter porter, excellent beer. Excellent.
So yeah, and you know what? As a fellow customer, sir, I can hear that you have a lot of knowledge on beer. So I would like the clerk to name off some of the different names and brands of this beer that would fit with the exact descriptions you just gave.
Yes,
because otherwise I'm walking out and going to a better store.
Exactly. Or 7-Eleven.
I appreciate you stepping in here, sir, and I'd be happy to do that.
Yeah, so sorry to make you step out from behind the bulletproof glass.
No, that's okay. My personal safety is of the least concern here. I'm here. Customer's always right. Customer comes first, even you. But anyway, back to you, sir.
And how come I had to turn my pockets out?
Well, it's weird that another patron would ask you to do that, but I'm keeping him at a distance. But I'm here to help you.
Turn your pockets out and keep your hands where I can see them.
Right. So we've got this lovely lupulin chocolate peanut butter porter. Have you had this one yet, sir?
I have not.
Well,
tell me about it.
You're really going to want to give this one a try, because it is it's from Colombia, and we all know how the Colombians love their chocolate porters.
No.
Okay, so
Colombians like coffee.
We're already. Yes, but chocolate porters and coffee are like this. They're very, very close. Very tied together almost. All right, sir. I can see that that's not tickling your fancy. How about this horny goat chocolate peanut butter imperial porter? It's kind of a
horny goat.
Yeah, a brand that perhaps you've heard of before.
Why? Because he's
I'm
black?
not, but who doesn't like a horny goat?
It doesn't. I just figured I'd throw it in there.
I'll get to you in just a minute, sir. If you could just let me assist this customer here.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
tell me about
tell me more.
That horny goat. Yeah, tell me more about that horny goat.
Yeah.
What did it do?
I would love to do that if Google would just cooperate.
What's the alcohol content on that, sir?
Hey Cory, we should make this. We should do theater every week. Every week.
Well, especially when Bob backs himself into a corner like he
go
did.
fuck yourself, because I suggested this like a year ago.
Yeah, but you also weren't prepared for all these questions.
Well, it was never meant to be like a high-speed Google search.
I think
for all.
It's actually kind of fun now.
Oh man,
it is. I'm enjoying it.
Well, you got to keep things going while I search my brain for the answer.
And I do love, like I said,
by the way, don't do a Google search for horny goat chocolate porter, because it thinks you want a horny goat weed.
Who doesn't want horny goat weed?
I was going to say, do you guys sell horny goat weed here? Because if you do, I'll definitely get some of that.
Exactly. Do you have poppers?
Poppers.
Holy cow.
So, yeah, tell me about this horny goat.
So it's
what about, hey Bob, you know what I do? You know what I do like, sir? Do you guys have Moose Drool? That's a nice porter out of Montana. Do you have that?
Ooh, let me.
It's got great balance, caramel tones.
Moose Drool, you say?
Moose Drool, I say.
Okay, is this like a brown ale, or is it more of a porter?
Well, it's a brown ale,
okay,
but it's got a lot of porter attributes.
Okay.
But Moose Drool, I really, really love. Do you have any porters that are similar?
Porters that are similar to a brown ale?
No, to Moose Drool.
Yeah.
Which is a brown ale. It's not a porter.
Correct. That's what I just said.
Okay.
You're very new at this, aren't you? Where'd you work?
I just like I like to make sure I understand
from a shoe store?
the question. The question.
He worked at a bank.
I guess.
And scene.
You don't seem to know.
Hence why he liked the bulletproof glass so much.
Gentlemen, that was Schnozzcast Theater.
You see what he did there, Todd? You see what he did there?
He quit.
Things were getting a little too hot. And he's like, oh, time to end that segment.
Right, yeah.
Exactly. Because that's never how it goes when I go to the beer store.
Yeah, I got to say, I'm not impressed with the ability of Google to pivot on a dime and give me what I wanted.
Well, hey.
And finally I realized, I'm like, this is my podcast. I could just fucking scene this bitch and we can move on.
It went 5 minutes longer than I thought you would have.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to take that as a compliment. And now I'm going to dish it
So
away from myself
C-
and back over to Cory for TT's TikToks.
Are you ready? TT's TikToks. Are you ready?
Believe it or not, I loved that whole thing. Even though I was on the hot seat and not really doing very well, I'm all for doing that every show.
I'm in.
But it can't be like a segment that we do. You know what I mean? Like it kind of has to, like today, it has to occur naturally. It has to just spring up naturally.
Sign me up, and I'll play any part, Bob.
Yeah. In fact, let me pull the volume down.
Here. We can probably turn that down.
While Cory's,
I was gonna say there's like 3 more minutes. There's 3 more minutes of that.
It's a very long, yeah. But I generally also don't let it play for as long as I just did. So you're welcome on that. But one of the things that I mentioned, I don't think I mentioned it on the show. I think I might have mentioned it on a production meeting. But when it comes to Schnozzcast Theater, I had the idea. I wanted to see like a. Now, what we just did was just improv, right? It's theater, but it's
Poor
improv.
Poor improv.
We'll let our audience be the judge of that.
It's very poor.
But what I was thinking about was actually having a script that we would read, because I really wanted to see. I literally woke up one day and I had been thinking about it while I was sleeping or like before I went to sleep. And I'm like, I want to see us do A Few Good Men. And I want to hear Cory play Colonel Jessup. I literally mentioned this. I mentioned this to you guys. Like, I don't care which one of us plays Tom Cruise, which one of us plays Kevin Bacon, but I wanted Cory to play Colonel Jessup.
I think,
and it was met with fucking crickets.
Yeah, I think
no one was interested, especially you.
I think that might be something that we just do in our spare time as a hobby and over the phone.
Well, yeah, but I'm throwing out here now so that in case anyone's actually listening to you or watching this and they go, "Holy shit, that's a great idea! I would love to see Cory telling me that I can't handle the truth." Then. If they come back,
that's all we can do. If we get a response from it, sure. I already know the answer,
Bob,
but
I know what you'd rather do, which is not to do it. But yeah, sorry, Todd, go ahead.
I love the idea, Bob. I have one slight altercation.
Yeah, altercation.
Alteration.
There you go. There it is. I'm like, are we going to get into fisticuffs here?
No, it's that Black Raven Brewing Perplexer hazy IPA. It's got me freaking drunker than I think. Anyway, I think one of us has to always be someone else's inner voice because Cory just nailed the brilliance of the improv. Someone has to have the inner dialogue.
I agree.
Have Cheetah will view. Have Cheetah. What's up, Cheetah?
Oh, hey.
That's Cory's line.
Have Cheetah well view. Hello. This is Bob. We were talking over Instagram. Jesus, Todd. We were talking over Instagram the other day.
That doesn't sound like why does that name sound familiar?
Yeah. So I think I'd mentioned.
Yeah,
I'd mentioned it at the time. So, yeah. So Todd, the problem with that is in improv, you're like we had set our roles ahead of time, and then Cory just decided instead of being a patron, he's going to be the voice of me.
That's the definition of fucking improv, Bob.
No, that's the definition of shitty improv, in which you fuck over all your scene partners by changing the rules and not telling anyone.
No, I don't think that's the case.
100%.
But I think the dialogue is always best between two people, and then somebody should be the inner voice of one of them. I think that needs to be the rules. I
got no problem with that. We just have to set that rule up front. So when he starts talking and I'm like, "Who are you?" That's bad improv. If one of your scene partners is like, "Who are you?"
It was great. Todd caught on.
Why don't you focus on being sexy because you're not real great at improv? Now, sexy improv, maybe you got a shot.
Well, Cheetah, to answer your question, we were doing good until Bob got his panties all in a bunch.
But no,
I am totally fine.
He did.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I am totally fine. Handle it like a
up.
champ. And see.
Yeah, this doesn't work for everything on the podcast now.
I feel like it does.
I feel like
I'm going to use that a lot more than I originally planned to. All right, so TikToks. Cory, what do you got for us?
So this first one.
Quitter.
No, I know when things should end. That's all.
So this first one, it's a guy and his girlfriend, guy and his wife. But it's
sister.
It's definitely not his sister. But he does this fake hand prank on her, and how it plays out, we'll talk about it as it goes.
Okay.
There's not too much audio to it, but why is there no audio at all?
Now I turned the volume down on the TV.
You might need to turn that up.
All right, hold on. On the TV.
Nope.
Nope, definitely not on the TV then.
Oh, dude.
I feel like I don't remember what you figured it out last time.
I know I did, and I fixed that issue. Yeah. Is it turned up on there?
Where's it coming from? Through
Bluetooth.
Todd's?
Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Through me?
Yeah.
How come you're always blaming me?
Well, I wasn't sure which audio he was coming through. Don't sass me, Todd. I'm trying to figure out. I'm just trying to figure out how I can help.
Don't sass me.
I don't know.
I feel like this is probably something that deserves the audio.
This is Bush League.
It does. But
do you remember last Sunday what you did to fix it?
Yep, I already got it fixed, and it's not coming through for some reason. So. So no TikToks this week.
So it's not fixed.
Seriously?
Yep.
So technically, it's not fixed.
Well, no, it's not, I don't know. I clicked everything I needed to. I don't know why it's not coming through the mixer.
All right, that's all right. We're pivoting here, and we're gonna do a first for the podcast here. We've never done this before, completely new, because the way I understand it, Todd has a sports grievance, that's sports related, and I'm like, Todd, which one is it? Is it grievances or sports? And he's like, it's both. It's both, bitch,
both, baby.
So what we're gonna do is
the timing is perfect.
We're playing both theme songs at the same time.
No, let's not do that.
Both are very good.
Come on.
No,
we've never done that before.
Yeah, no, it's a terrible idea.
But
sure,
both are very
maybe
good.
just for like 3 seconds.
They're both really good.
What? No.
Hit a button.
Here's what it would sound like if we did that.
Hit a button. People are waiting.
No, it sounds terrible. Stop that.
All right, so it's been done. I'm good. It's been done now.
So play airing of grievances.
Okay, here we go.
The Festivus begins with the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're gonna
And then
hear about it.
then we go with 90-second sports.
90-second sports.
Are you happy now?
Oh,
Happy-
this is perfect,
happy and
Cory.
sexy?
Got it right, baby. Cory
Happy
got it
and
right,
sexy.
baby. And this is a perfect song.
90-second sports.
Oh yeah, I now I know what your grievance is.
Boy.
Okay.
You do.
All right, well, go right ahead, sir.
Put me on the screen, baby.
Yeah,
How
I
many
kind of
of
want
you-
to. Can you
How
share?
many people out there wasted? I don't even know how much of your lives watching Jake Paul, Mike Tyson last night. I, for one, will never get that time back. What a horrible, and when I say horrible is not a horrible enough word to describe what I saw. And shame on me. And boxing does this to me every single time. Yep, I'm that dude. I'm that dude who pays for all the pay-per-views and then sees dudes get knocked out in 13 seconds flat. I'm the dude who thinks, yeah, boxing's, I know it's fixed, but this fight's going to be legit. No. Last night, in one evening, and by the way, the fact that, shame on you, Netflix, but the fight starts at 8 o'clock, starting at 5 Eastern. I watched shit, and I watched fixed boxing. And by the way, there was 2 good matches where, again, I think the outcomes were a little bit shady. I think boxing has got to be the most cheatingest sport in the history of sport. And so while it used to be the sweet science, it is now the sweet fix. And so my grievance number 1, boxing is rigged. The winners don't really win. And when the winners lose, they tie. It is freaking horrible. And then I get it. I didn't, I remember Tyson of old. I don't even have the words. I remember Tyson of old. I thought that he was going to muster some old school Mike Tyson fury and beat the piss out of a YouTube freaking MMA dude, because boxers are actually boxers and not wrestlers. And it's been proven again and again. Real boxers, especially if the sport is boxing, will kick the shit out of any MMA guy because they just can't. Again, if you can't kick a dude in the nuts or in the head or freaking somehow, pump him to death, you can't, or put him in a chokehold, you can't win. But last night, I saw a 58-year-old Mike Tyson when Jake Paul rolled out in his own dually, and I'm like, oh, he's going to get his ass kicked. Oh, I can't wait to see him get his ass kicked. And I know that Tyson's 87 years older than he is, but Mike Tyson that I remember is a bad motherfucker. And then Mike rolled out, and his eyes looked like somebody just told him like 2 seconds before he left, hey, you got to go down to the 5th. Because he looked weaker. Dude, I'm going to say this. I'm saying it on the air, Bob, and I don't care what the backlash is, and I hope it comes true. I believe that I, Todd Dillon, could beat Mike Tyson's ass right today. Today! That dude sucks ass. I, Todd Dillon, would challenge Mike Tyson to a fight. And I'm not going to fight for $60 million. I will beat your ass for $10 million flat. I, Todd Dillon, will beat. And you know what? Like you, I'm not even going to train. I'm not going to train. I will beat Mike 2-minute rounds so that there's more action. And if he doesn't run away, you're going to knock him out. I was horrified and humiliated. And the people, what a money steal. What a money grab. That was the worst fight in the history of fights, and I'm standing by it. I don't care what anybody on the internet says. I, Todd Dillon, will beat Mike Tyson's ass tomorrow in an airport, in a ring, or whatever. All I want is my $10 million paycheck. I will beat his ass for real. Thank you.
All right, I had a couple of I didn't want to cut you off, so I'll just give you my perspective, which is I turned it on and I read an entire book from the time they went live to the time that the Tyson fight was over. Finished a book, done, and it was
that was junk as well.
And the best part was it was a book by Mo Howard about the Three Stooges. So I learned a bunch of shit that I could use in my everyday life. So for me, it was a win all the way around. Now I will say that the second and third fight, I think the second fight was Nunez. Is that right?
Yeah, that was a good fight.
I thought it was a really good fight.
No, wait. Nunez was Goya. Goya, the dude from Niraj Goya fought Nunez. That fight sucked ass as well. Because
was that the first fight then?
Goya, yeah, that was this. It wasn't the first fight. The way the order it was Bruce Shushu Carrington defeated Dana Gladwell. I didn't see that one, but I did watch. It was Niraj Goya and Wenderson Nunez, in which Goya beat Wenderson Nunez, and but before that he humped him in the fourth round or something like that, because he was just goofing around with him, because clearly he fought a freaking what do they call it, a milk box, or what do you call a dude who doesn't even belong in the ring with you?
I have no idea.
Mike Tyson,
a nerd.
Anyway, yeah. Anyway,
I thought the last couple rounds of that fight, they stepped it up a bit, and now the ladies' fight, I thought those ladies did well.
Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. Amanda Serrano won. Katie Taylor headbutted her twice and still won.
Yeah,
dude, boxing is, even for the women, it's rigged.
I was really surprised to see that Katie Taylor won. I thought, is it just because
she lost? She lost
cut her eye like there was I thought there was another eyeball going to come out of it.
She gashed her open pretty good.
Oh yeah.
This is probably not going to be popular for our show, but I will say one thing. I got to say this. This is just a TD thing. I don't like women boxing, and I'm not saying that they can't box. In fact, I think they're very good fighters, but
you just don't like to watch
it. I think it's horrible.
So I was talking with Cory about this last night.
Seeing two women beat on each other.
Telling her like, "Oh, I'm watching the fight on Netflix," and she's like, "Okay." Then I explained like, "Oh, these two ladies are about to start fighting." She has no interest in watching ladies.
Me either.
Lady pugilism in any form. I discovered for myself.
Don't get me wrong. No, I like a good cat fight, but
now.
Like
I discovered that I don't mind watching them in UFC, like an MMA fight.
I don't like that either.
But a boxing match, it doesn't really do anything for me. I would rather.
I don't like either one of those forums. I like an amateur cat fight at a good old fashioned bar around the corner. That's the only women I want to see fighting.
What is it about that attracts you, sir?
Nobody actually leaves with their eye hanging out.
I was waiting for Todd to say
it's more great talk.
I was going to say there's no referee at the bar on the corner. They're more likely to leave with some grievous injury from the bar than they are from the ring.
It's really like scratch and some foul language. That didn't get me on.
They're also not wearing gloves, and they're using their long fingernails. And
I was waiting for Todd. I was waiting for Todd to say to go watch Foxy Oil baby
Foxy
oil
boxing,
Foxy baby oil boxing up at the local club. That's a female fight I can get with. So Cheetah said, Todd, he was looking for some Wolverine highlights as well.
Dude, the other thing, not for another two, and I got to call out one other.
I don't think you heard what you said.
View.
I don't think you heard what you said.
Wolverine highlights.
Yes, Wolverine highlights.
Oh,
you can say no,
highlights.
Like not this week, sir.
No.
Next week.
No Wolverine highlights. Dude, I tail between legs. Tail between legs. That's what I got on my FAMU shirt today.
Gotcha.
But the other thing was, shame on Netflix. Double shame. Because I know I wasn't the only one in the universe getting buffered. What a shit broadcast. And they had Evander, the No Ear Holyfield on there, and his earbuds didn't work. He couldn't hear anything. And again, when you listen to dudes that are punch drunk, yammering, and they can't hear, it's 10 times worse. I'm like, oh my God. I feel like Evander Holyfield's got dementia right in front of me. Horrible broadcast, horrible production, horrible freaking resiliency of their freaking Netflix. Hire me for the $10 million. I will beat Mike Tyson's ass, and the 4 people who view it will see it crystal clear. Don't sign up for shit you can't deliver. Don't sign up for shit you can't deliver.
Yeah, I never had it go out. I never got the spinning percentage, but there was probably more than half of the entire night I was watching. It was like it hadn't quite. It was like standard definition. It was all grainy, and I'm like, this sucks. I mean, I'm glad I didn't pay for it.
Like, how much did we pay for this? Mary was like,
yeah.
Thankfully, we didn't pay for this trash. Horrible. It was a money grab served on a cold plate.
I'm all for that. Like that's capitalism. But I was really stunned at Netflix has a huge subscriber base, and for them to be able to and they've done drops of like really really popular like Tiger King and all this other shit like Netflix specials that everybody has watched in the first like 48 72 hours. How the fuck they couldn't put this shit together for
because it's because millions of suckers like me, even though I'm not a boxing fan, I'm not a huge fan of the pure science. The bigger thing is suckers like me are like, holy cow, I'm kind of getting over. I paid like $170 for a 20-second fight when he beat down. I mean, I'm going to show my age again. When he beat the shit out of Leon Spinks in like a minute, I paid for that. Real money. Invited people over. Cooked food.
Yeah.
Horrible. And so Netflix got every sucker like me. I'm going to say this and say it now. They can't get me back. They can't. Just like I gave up on.
What do you mean
YouTube,
they can't get you back? Are you saying you're going to cancel Netflix?
You better have canceled it last night. Please tell me you canceled it last night.
No.
Well, then I don't know what we're talking about because
they're not going to. I'm not going to watch any more live boxing events because not only is it
that's
rigged,
fine,
but it's horrible and they can't keep up with the pace of the other suckers.
I think all that's true, but I maintain you didn't have to watch. You could have turned it off at any point, and you also didn't pay for it. I mean,
I kind of did though.
No,
I lost minutes of my life,
but that was your choice.
Watch Mike Tyson.
Dude, that was your choice.
Make it around the ring for 2 minutes 6 months ago. I think they freaking again for the internet out there, and I hope that somebody captures this. Todd Dillon, am challenging Mike Tyson to a fight anywhere for $10 million. Anywhere.
Wow.
I hope that happens.
Me too.
I do too.
Todd, pour yourself up a shot.
Yep. And we're gonna close out the show.
Oh, that's that. Hey, Cory, I'm gonna layer that on there. I will beat Mike Tyson's ass after drinking 7 shots and a freaking Black Raven Brewing, freaking hazy pale IPA.
That's after 7 shots.
Yep.
I don't know, Todd.
You want me to tell you all about that IPA? Give you a description. They got notes of lavender and coriander.
Doesn't know shit about
only if Cory is your inner voice.
Inner voice.
Better believe it.
All right, I'm ready to go. I got my chocolate bomb, baby. My cocoa bomb.
Yeah, yes, Mr. Cheetah. I
will not watch WWE.
I don't watch WWE rather. I'm a UFC guy. That I will watch. But I haven't even watched UFC. And remember we used to watch it when Conor was coming up and Rousey was still active. And I haven't think I've watched a UFC match in a couple of years.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Nope. But I will say, before we do the shot, I will say I was totally fine with it because I had this fantasy notion that we were going to see Mike Tyson beating down a guy who I really feel deserved to be beaten down. But I think in order for me
and then
to do
they
that,
kissed each other at the end. Did you see that? They might as well made out.
It's a show, right? It's all a show.
It's trash.
And
dude,
I think that Tyson, if Tyson was going to win, in the first 2 rounds, he would have had to have uncorked his iron fist and whatever power that he had at the age of 58. But the fact that he didn't do that, by the time they got to the 3rd round, he was so tired that he just was trying to stay on his feet.
I know.
Through 8 rounds. And
I know.
But that's what
2-minute rounds. 2-minute rounds too. 2-minute rounds.
I think that the number of rounds and the duration per rounds, I think were all Tyson's like requirements. And I think it was a great idea. He never would have made it 15 rounds. Never.
15
rounds, like all the fights before him went 15. But
he wouldn't have made it 15. He barely made it 15 minutes.
I don't know how you're Jake Paul and you're proud of the fact that you beat a 58-year-old man.
He's proud because he got $40 million. He robbed me too.
He robbed
me too.
They were going to get paid whether you watched or not. Doesn't matter. But I don't even watch boxing, but I'd be willing to bet money that there are at least a half a dozen fighters out there who could kick the shit out of Jake Paul tomorrow. I don't see how beating Tyson moves the needle for Jake Paul other than just putting lots of money in his pocket.
I don't know how we haven't discussed Mike Tyson just walking around in his jockstrap bare ass.
Yeah, that was the best part of the night. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Because the fact that they were, if you didn't watch the fight last night, at some point just during the ladies' fight, they cut over to Tyson's locker room and they were interviewing him. And now I had the volume off, so I didn't hear what they were asking him or what he was saying. I was just watching. So all I know is when they got done, the guy went like, like, thanks, Mike. And Mike's like, yep, thank you. And then they should have cut the feed and went right back to the fight, but they didn't. They left the camera on, and they didn't even zoom in. They just kind of followed him as he turned around. And now, when he was on camera, he was shirtless, he's bare-chested, and it looked like he had trunks on because it was only like waist up. Like, oh, that must be the waistband of his trunks. But when he turned around and walked away, it wasn't. It was like a jock,
and he was bare
ass. But he's Mike Tyson, so I'm like, Mike probably doesn't give a shit, doesn't care. But someone really screwed up because all of a sudden you could see the camera like, cut the shot. And then they went back to the fight.
I feel like that was another planned.
I don't see how. If that was the case, they would have why would you show Tyson's ass and not Jake Paul's ass? Jake Paul's 27 years old.
Nobody wants to see that, Trent. Nobody wants to see any of that.
If anybody wants to, why would it be Tyson's ass they want to see?
I was more happy to see Tyson's than Jake Paul's.
Because they wanted to see his wiener.
Right, that would have been right if they just kind of like, oh shit, drop the camera. Drop the camera. I didn't mean to.
You can't show that.
Well, we all paid for it.
You can watch season 4 of The Wire.
Season 4 of The Wire.
That being said, cheers, boys.
Salute.
Cheers.
Horrible. I had one word text to my sister who reminded me, don't forget to watch the fight. My response to her after watching all that trash was capital JUNK. Junk.
Yeah.
I was duped. They duped me. Never again. Never again.
All right. Well, I think that's a good place to end it. That's the episode for this week. Thank you so much for joining. We will see you here. Actually, we're going to go live again in just a few minutes, I think.
So, Cheetah, if you want to come back on.
Yeah, we're going to take a break. We'll be back in probably 10 minutes, and we'll do episode number 2 for tonight. So thank you, everybody, for listening and tuning in. On behalf of Bob and Cory and Todd, this is Bob saying, see ya. Peace out.